Sounds good, man.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us today in Live Music Nation Podcast Festival Edition. Today I'm with Blake and Danny. They are with Cape Events. They have host a variety of events throughout the year, and really probably is best described as they are the tried and true. Try something and see if it works, and if it does, stick with it. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us, man. It's awesome to be here.
Guys, give us a little background on you. Danny, let's start with you. Where'd you grow up, and talk a little bit about your career?
I grew up just outside of Chicago. I lived there till I was 18, and then when my parents moved down here to take care of my grandparents down here in the Missouri, the Boot Heel, and to take care of my grandparents. And 18 years old, no job, nothing to do. I moved down here. I didn't really have a plan other than I wanted to be a rock star. That hasn't worked out yet, but you never know. Give it time. I'm only 40, and got down here, ended up running a popcorn factory for a little while, and I couldn't even change the oil in my car. They threw me in with both feet and told me fix the machinery, and I went from not knowing how to do anything to being one of the main maintenance guys on their day shift. And I've been doing machine maintenance, facilities maintenance, remodeling houses, a little bit of everything, whatever technical. It's what I've been doing for over 20 years. On top of that, I ran restaurants. I opened Mary Jane Bourbon and Smokehouse here in Cape. Had a 400 plus whiskey bottle selection that I personally tasted my way through. And then I decided I wanted to start a nerd podcast because I'm a huge nerd and I talk about comic books all day long. And I thought, you know what? I want to do this so everybody else can hear me. Did that for a little while. Then Blake joined the company. And then we started helping out with Cape Events with Anime Con and Cape Con. And the next thing you know, that just made sense that we buy part of the company and make it our thing as well. So that's how this whole thing happened.
Very cool. Blake, what about you? Where'd you grow up, and talk a little bit about your path through here?
Man, I grew up in Sikeston, Missouri, half my childhood, the other half around Dexter, Bloomfield area. I pretty much lived and breathed construction my whole entire life. I've been doing it 40 plus hours a week since I've been 14. Now I also have my own company, been doing it for 19 years. Always loved nerd stuff. And then me and Danny became friends about 3 years ago. And about a year into the friendship, he's like, hey, want to guest on this podcast I have? It was audio at the time. I was like, oh, sure. I got on there. I might have said 4 words the whole entire show. We got to talking a few months later and decided to kind of relaunch it and revision it together. And we decided to make it an audio and video. And it's just successfully growing in leaps and bounds every month, honestly. We started attending conventions together, started doing live podcast shows in Chicago, St. Louis, here locally. And then, as he said about the Cape Events thing, it just kind of all snowballed into that. And we're going full momentum, but nothing's stopping us. Also used to have a bakery, do 3D sculpted cakes and stuff like that on the side for fun. So yeah, involved in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's really what
also, Flatlands Music Fest started that 3 years ago. With some partners. That was a band. We had our first initial music fest. It was all genres, 13 bands in 12 hours, 2 stages going. We took a year break after that. My partners had some stuff going on, and then I have actually assumed full ownership of it this year. So we're restructuring it, and we're actually going to be doing 2 large music fests a year with small music events in between. And that's going to be on a 96-acre plot right outside of Cape. There'll be rooms you can rent out of a mansion, or there'll be tent camping, food trucks, other things as well going on with that.
Perfect, guys. Let's jump into the events, Cape Events, and then your also your adventures. Where did the desire and the drive to start uniting people together with common interests come from?
Man, I've been over, I worked at our casino locally here for a while, and I was over their event center. I did event coordinating, and there is nothing better. There's no better feeling than coordinating an event and pulling it off and it just going really well and people just loving it. It's like this, it's like a high that you chase. You're like, man, I just want to see all these people having a great time. And I want to know at the end of the day that we did this, being able to slap your name on it and saying we did this, you know, and it's pretty incredible. Like we've had events that have had up to like 3,000 people attend here in Cape, and it's always just such a thrill to watch people walking in, you know, the joy in their eyes, the opportunity, the costumes. I love cosplay. I do it myself, and I love seeing other people doing it. The whole thing is just it's huge for me. I just love it.
What is it that makes it huge for you? Like, is it
Well,
is it the fact
I
that
think
yeah, go ahead.
I think I can put it pretty succinctly. It's that I grew up a nerd, and I was real little, and I got picked on for it, and I couldn't talk about the things that I loved. And then between eighth grade and ninth grade, I grew a foot, and I was 6'2", and all of a sudden nobody picked on me anymore. But also, still nobody had any interest in listening to all the nerd shit that I wanted to talk about. Is the language okay?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. Nobody wanted to listen to me talk about all the nerd shit that I was into, and then you know we have the modern boom in comic book superheroes on screen, and anime taking a huge leap in popularity in the United States. And so here's two things that I just absolutely love. And now instead of being this guy nobody wants to like hear what I have to say, I've got a wealth of information gained over a lifetime of being a zealot as far as as far as my fandom goes for these things. And now it's like every time I turn around, somebody's like, well, what is this? What is this thing? How does this thing work? What's this from? Where do these guys come from? And I just, you know, I can talk all day long about comic books, cartoons, movies, video games, anime, fantasy novels. I love westerns. I can talk about cowboys all day long too. You want to talk about John Wayne or some of the older stuff, you know. It's I think I'm living in like the perfect time period for me, honestly.
For sure. No, for sure.
Really is
So walking. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Like, sorry.
No, you know what I'm saying? He literally is a walking nerd encyclopedia. But then also on, I mean, kind of my viewpoint on this and why we do it and what I get out of this is honestly that, you know, it's great, whether it be anime, whether it be Western, whether it be Comic-Con, whether it be music with, you know, the Music Fest. We have so much going on now in today's world, whether it be politics, whether it be struggles, whether it be work. We have so much pressure that we all just focus and or put almost all of our life into. And then when you can take these things that literally will distract you from reality for a minute, and it's a passion that can collectively bring all these people together into an escape from reality, and they just enjoy in that moment, whatever that fandom may be. Being a part of that, knowing you create that, and you can actually bring that happiness of people together, that right there is a huge spider web it's just rewarding to be a part of and to bring that to these people's lives.
Yeah, I think you summed it up fantastically there, Blake. Blake, let's start with you. When people arrive at your music festival, these three questions are always going to come to my mind. What are they going to see? What are they going to smell, meaning food? And what are they going to hear, meaning music, environment, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, one important thing about a music fest when you talk about what you're going to smell, I think is, you know, food trucks are huge. They've grown. Honestly, you got people searching out more food trucks nowadays than you almost do local restaurants. So I think having a great variety of food trucks there that's not overlapping with each other, that gives a great things to choose from and multiple smells. Because also, I mean, just kind of like when you pass by a fair, you know, you smell those onions frying, you know, on the burgers.
Yeah.
You kind of just, your brain puts those two things together. Then also, we don't want to just let it be music. So, you know, also have activities for the kids. So, you know, say you do have kids there during the daytime, and you don't want them to be up your butt or feel like you're pressured to leave because, you know, hey, they're not here to, you know, listen to mom and dad's music. Well, you know, also supply something for them like we're going to do with our Cowboys and Campers and have a kids area for them, whether it be bounce house, face painting, some games, stuff like that. So we want it to be where, you know, we can cater to the whole entire crowd. And everybody's have a great time and not feel rushed and enjoy the whole entire thing. And music wise, you know, everybody loves different genres. So, you know, we started the first music fest with all genres. We had literally, I think, 6 different genres playing at one time. But now we're going to kind of separate it to where it's more like a country, folk, and blues in the fall. And then in the summer, it's going to be more of a rock and rap and, you know, and harder stuff that way. And then, you know, we might have a one-night event, you know, 3 or 4 times in between those 2 festivals, but then have 2 giant festivals that cater to those main genres that people love. Perfect.
Danny, there's lots of comic conventions out there, lots of different gatherings. So I'll ask you the same three questions. What do people come to one of your events? What are they going to see, smell? What are they going to hear?
So first thing, they're going to see a well laid out comic book convention with lots of vendors, smiling faces. I want to say like the most important smiling face that people are going to see is the founder of Cape Events, Ken Murphy. He's not here today, but Ken ran this thing for 17 years before we joined him, and he has just kept this thing rolling. He is one of the most passionate people about comic books and about the experience of a con that I've ever met, and we're all lucky to have him. So first thing, you walk in the door, you've got one of the nicest guys who's passionate, excited, happy to have you there. You know, a lot of times Blake and I are running around like chickens with our heads cut off, but Ken makes an effort to be right there front and center to greet everyone as they come in. We like to keep things light. We like to have a good time. So a lot of things they're going to hear is laughter. They're going to be people joking. A lot of times it's going to be me because I'm always running around messing with people. Can't help myself. We also host a lot of panels at our events. We feature podcasters. We also have like demonstrations. We did a Hapkido demonstration last weekend at AnimeCon. And then when you're talking about food and drink at these things, so we have Cakes Reanimated. It's one of the best bakeries that I personally have ever seen. And they make special treats for our cafe. So we host a maid cafe at both of our big events. Where people come in, they pay to enter the cafe, and then they are served by what is a traditional like maid costume. It's a Japanese tradition, but they get treats that are themed to the event. So for the cat cafe, we just had at Anime, they had like cat butt cookies, which was like a rear end of a cat, had like tail up, little pink butt,
Right.
and the Hello Kitty cupcakes and cake pops that were themed after cats. And then we also have Villainous Grounds, who comes down from Perryville, and they always do themed drinks, but they are one of the best coffee roasters, grinders, and servers. And the cool thing about Villainous Grounds is they also own a comic book shop that is behind their coffee shop. So they're passionate about comics as well. They love nerd shit as much as I do. And then so you walk in, first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna smell delicious baked goods, incredible coffee smells, and then you're going to get to go see some of these panels where we entertain people. We do prizes, we do contests. Actually, probably one of the most interesting smells they would have gotten over this last weekend is that we held a ramen eating contest.
Oh, wow.
We had 16 contestants.
384 packs of ramen.
384 packs of ramen, and it was a blast. I can tell you that. We were slinging ramen bowls as fast as we could, and they were eating them as even faster than we could get them to them. So
oh wow,
that was
we'll be checking that out for sure, guys. I really just I'm going to go back to what Blake really summed up, and here's my hope. My hope is that you guys continue to do this in every aspect that is possible for you, that it expands and it grows, so that actually becomes our reality, and everything else that's going on in the world and all the negative distractions and all the things become so muted and so quiet because we're just completely wrapped up and enthralled about our passions and our excitements and our interests. And to find out that I'm really truly a nerd at heart. I mean, I love coffee and bakery goods, so I want to come to your festival, you know. I think that's huge. What do you see as a trend in the younger generations, the tech generation, the TikTokers, the YouTubers, which are really kind of our generation, but from a comic standpoint, from a festival standpoint, who's going to take that over when you guys are done?
So I've got 5 kids.
Yep.
And they're in that generation. And Jake, I can tell you that the thing that I find most interesting about the current generation that is coming up is that while we were all kind of the tail end of that 1950s, like bigger, better, industrialized, like everything, you get your waffles out of a bag in the freezer instead of making them yourself. It seems that the trend with people is really moving back towards well-made, authentic things, handcrafting. I honestly, I spend probably a couple hours a day on TikTok just watching woodworking videos with people that are younger than me who have just taken to building these giant wood shops and stuff. And I think that what we're seeing is the trend, and I'm seeing this in cosplay as well. The trend is going more towards making your own stuff as opposed to buying it. So I think that as far as that TikTok generation goes, yeah, they're walking around with their phone in their hand, but they're also learning how to run a wood lathe, and they're also learning how to weld. They're learning how to. I think there's just a much bigger focus on making things that are going to last and making them yourself, and kind of getting away from that like Mad Men era advertising. Like everybody's got to have the biggest, best thing. And so I think that we're in good hands to pass this off to the next generation. I like to believe that one of my kids is going to step up and I can say, hey, you know, here's the business I built for you. But I can tell you right now, if they don't live up to that, they don't necessarily automatically get it either. I would rather pass this on to someone that I know is going to treat it right, someone is going to take care of it, someone is going to cherish the fans and the followers and everyone as much as I do and as much as I would like to be treated myself. And so I think we're in good hands, and I think that whoever those hands are, they're out there somewhere.
Well, I think also that the positiveness about the TikTok and all these new social things is that it's also opening up a world to people who normally wouldn't get out, and so they can also see that, hey, there's a lot more people out there involved and passionate about these other things. And so by them seeing that actually opens them up more to more of the world and maybe joining in with others and participating in other things that, hey, you know, I'm not out here alone in a lot of this stuff. And by seeing that, it gives them a whole different presence and a whole different self, honestly, to go out there and chase after things that they normally wouldn't chase after if we didn't have these social media avenues. And so I think it's nothing but a positive thing to grow these things in strength than they've ever been before in the past generations.
That's perfect. Absolutely. Guys, we've had a lot of serious conversation this morning so far. Two questions that I always ask in every podcast because I am in live music and I am in live entertainment. Danny, first question goes to you. What is the best concert you have ever seen your entire life?
So I saw Rage Against the Machine in Alpine Valley on their reunion tour in 2008. That is the best concert I have ever been to. Queens of the Stone Age opened for them. We were in, and anyone who was there can probably agree to this with me. We were in Alpine Valley. They sold about 10,000 more seats than the outdoor stadium could hold, or the outdoor, what's the amphitheater, that the amphitheater could hold. And I'm telling you, Rage Against the Machine hit that stage and they kicked in, and I believe they started off with Testify was their first song. And as soon as they kicked in, the crowd got so excited that everyone shoved forward. And everything went from being seated with rails to us crowd surfing the rails and the seating out of our way, and it all became general admission. And I was part of a mass sea of humanity where there was no autonomy and you had no choice but to just ride the wave and enjoy the music. And it was like, it was surreal to not have to like even worry about supporting your own body weight. It was like being in the ocean, you know?
Yeah.
Like you were just, it was bigger than you were. And man, I could not tell you, like I left that show with such a high for like just life, music, excitement, the future. Like it was incredible. And I haven't experienced anything like it. I mean, and I love concerts. Like if I go to a show, I'm on the rail. I was on the rail at a Guar show last year. And one of my friends, she's like a 5'3", less than 100-pound girl, and we were in the pit on the rail at a Guar show, getting splashed with fake blood and alien stuff, and this guy crowd surfed over and punched her in the face. And it's like just the most random thing, and most people wouldn't be like, well, that was a highlight of the night, but for me, it was like that was awesome. Like, we just like got took care of it, we went home, and we got a story to tell. So that's,
oh my gosh! All right, second question, Blake, goes to you. Dead or alive, you could bring any musical act to one of your festivals and events. Who you bring?
Who do I bring?
Yeah.
Zach Bryan.
Really? That was easy. Yep. That was easy. Perfect. All right, guys, give us a rundown. How do people find your podcast? How do people find your events? And start. You can name them all. I want to make sure people can follow you guys.
So the podcast is everywhere. You can find us on Apple, on iTunes. You can find us on Google Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. We're on literally every streaming platform. You can also find us at our website, comicallyinclined.com. That is also where you can be linked to our Patreon, and you can see our exclusive footage, things that we put together outside of the regular streaming. We're also available on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, where you can watch us live as we make the show.
Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, we have socials on Instagram, TikTok, and
anything you think of. Right?
Yeah. Cape Events, the easiest way to see us is at cape-events.com. That is our website. We do have a very big social presence as well. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And then Flatlands Music Festival.
Flatlands Music Fest currently is, like I said, we're restructuring it over the next couple of months. So right now we're just on Facebook. But I would say within the next couple of months, we'll actually have a live website for ticket sales. We'll be on all your socials and everything as well.
Okay. Very good. Thanks for joining us today, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Jake. You enjoy the rest of your day, brother.
We will. We will. Hey, so.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a ball